With this next example, we're going to be going to the DIFM.farm website, and after we have logged in, we're going to go to the Farmers and Advisors tab, click on it, then we'll go to the farms. We're going to start from scratch here. If you've already added a farm, you could just use that one. It's not overly important, but here we could use another one. We're just going to add a farm, start this from scratch. We could put an address in to find the location, change the lat long, but we're just not going to worry about that right now. We're going to put in, this is our pivot test 2 field. So we're going to scroll down to this field right here. We're going to click on fields. And we could draw the field, but we're just going to upload the field boundary. Right here, we're just going to call it pivot test. We're going to open our folder that has our on-off example. And this is just downloading a field boundary, so you could download your same field boundary from your system in your tractor or on your operations center or wherever you can kind of find those boundary files. We're going to take the zipped boundary file here, drag and drop it here. We're going to click upload. And it's going to show us where that field is and the boundaries for it. Next, we're going to click on trials. And within this field, you can add multiple trials and click which one you want, but we're going to start from here. Trial name again is going to be Pivot Bio. 2025 is a year. The crop is corn. We're going to mark this as a test trial. We're just going to look at this as an example, not as an official one. So once we've added our trial, we can then go to the configure trial icon. And next, we need to add an A/B line. If you watch previous videos, we've kind of talked about how to use your lat long heading just like in your tractor, or just the lat long points. You can upload a shapefile if you have it. That's what we have. So for this field, we're just going to use that. And we're going to call it the Pivot Bio A/B line. We're going to open our file. We're going to find our A/B line. We're going to drag and drop it here. So you see the A/B line here. It goes across the field, outside the field. That doesn't matter. It just matters what the heading is and where it is in the field. So from there, we're going to click Save. So we have our A/B line. And the next thing we're going to do is scroll down until we get to trial configuration. And here's where we're going to look at harvester width. So for this trial, our harvester width is 30 feet. The headland distance is 90 feet. The sideland distance is 30. And we're going to leave the input plot minimum maximum at 200 and 300. So we're click done. So we're going to keep scrolling down. Now we have a little bit more to scroll to. I'm going to click add inputs. So trial details automatically populates from before. We're going to select an input. And on this one, we're going to do biostimulant. Pivot Bio. If something is on here and you are not on here and you'd like it on here, you can definitely talk to us about that as well. So units, this is going to be gallons per acre. So we keep scrolling. Go to harvester width is there. Machine, we need to input a machine to apply this. So here we're going to use planter's going to apply it. The width of our planter is 60 feet. It has one section. And it's going to be an applicator, not a harvester. So click Save. So scroll back down here. We still have to go back through and select that one. So we selected the planter. Now we can go in and inputs the data automatically for 60 feet wide, one input or one section. So headland distance is 90, sideland is 30. We've already done that. Checkerboard, could do a strip trial if you wanted. On the input plot width, we're going to say 60, so that's the size of our planter. Rates, we're just going to do with pivot bio and without, so we're going to have 2 rates. The normal input rate we are going to have as 0, because that's without pivot bio. So our minimum rate is going to be 0, and our max is going to be 20, which is so 0 or 20, because we're only having 2 rates, because that's going to be with the pivot bio, so the pivot bio the on, basically. So then I'm going to select an AB line. This is the one we already input earlier, and click Done. So then we go back to the trials page, and here we're going to scroll down. We've already done the input, trial configuration, we've done the input specifications, and now we're going to click on we're good with this setup right here, and click our checkbox there, and we're going to click Create. After it's done processing, you can scroll down further, and here we can open a few things. We can open a map that shows our field with and without the trials on it. Scroll in and out of there. And you can see our target rate of 0 or 20. You can see our checkerboard here of the different rates and things like that. So if we go back to the previous page, go down, we can look at the report. So this goes through and it's going to tell us the trial, number of acres, number of plots, the width of the plots, the length of the plots, and the 2 targeted rates, size of the sidelands and the headlands, and then it's going to tell you at the end here that you're going to need 574 gallons to be able to complete this trial. So here we scroll down further, we can see the target rate. The replicates, we're going to have 84 replicates of 0, 82 replicates of 20-pound rate, so with pivot bio. This is important, and this is the AB lines, the latitude, longitude for your A and your B that you'll need for the planter, so the pivot bio. And then the AB line you'll need for the harvester to be able to stay the best within the areas, those treatment areas. So this is really important, because these are going to be different than the AB line that the farmer may have given you. That's the one you need to use. So this is just shows you the border in red. The gray is the trial area. Then we look at the AB line. This is just an example of the AB line of the planter. And then the one that's helpful is kind of the AB line of the planter versus the harvester. So the planter is 60 feet wide. The harvester is 30, so you can see 2 passes with the harvester inside the treatment area to get those. And that gives us that information there. The other thing that's important that this gives you, you go ahead and click download here, and then up here it'll download. Once that's done, we can click on this file, and this zipped file right here, if we unzip it, this file contains everything you'll need to send to the person you're working with at DIFM or your agronomist or whoever's applying it, so they can put it in their software, because this gives you everything you need, but it doesn't necessarily make it specific for your applicator or your control you have on your tractor or planter. So you need to take this information here and then send it to someone. They can put in an SMS or another program and be able to kick it out so it's readable by whatever monitor that you have. So that's important to note. And those are all the files you'll need downloaded there to complete that. So once we have what we want here, and that's good, we're good to go. We're going to say this is our final, this is what we're going to go do. So we click Final, it says, are you sure? Say yep. So then we're going to go back up to Farmers and Advisors. We're now going to click on Trial. So this is kind of after we've done the applications, we've harvested everything. And now we're going to scroll down to our test here. So this is our Pivot 2. It's incomplete. We're going to go to Manage. And this is going to give us a quick overview of what the project is, the target rates, replicates, and over here is what we're going to focus on next. We're going to have our raw yield file, as well as our as applied for the pivot bio file. So for these ones, we're going to go ahead and upload. So we're going to click on Upload. We're going to open our file, and we're going to take that raw yield file that we got from the yield monitor. We're going to put it in here and click Upload. So once that's uploaded, we're going to go ahead and upload our next one, which is our as applied input, or pivot bio. So we're going to upload this one. We're going to open the file. We're going to get the as applied data from the planter. We're going to drag it and drop it here. Click Upload there. So the next thing we need to do, the software needs to be able to define the features. So these are the features that the software needs to know. It needs to know what are these features called in the file that you gave it. So our elevation, we go in here, and some of these are a little bit different because this is from a French province. So this is our elevation, but it's still in feet. Our distance is still in feet. This is our volume, and it's in bushels per acre. Our offset, we're not going to work. Time is going to be this right here, the HUR. Angle is blank. Mass is if you're doing something about pounds per acre, but since bushels is volume, we're just going to worry about that. The width is going to be this unit right here, and it's also going to be in feet. And I don't think we need to worry about speed. So we're going to hit Submit. Once that's done, it'll bring you back to this page, and then we can do the same thing for the as applied data. So we're going to click on Define Features. So to this one, section ID is this one right here, this ID OBJET. Distance came up correctly. This is in feet. Offset, we're not going to worry about. Time came up. I found it correctly. Angle, we can leave blank. Width, found it correctly. Just need to put units of feet. Speed, we're going to leave blank. Input rate is going to be product, PROD. This one right here, this is still in gallons per acre. So once we have these matched up, we're going to click Submit. So it's going to bring us back here. And the next thing we can do, we're going to say, okay, for this raw yield price, just to keep the example similar, 680 was our raw yield price there. The input price was 84 cents per gallon. And then we're going to go ahead and click Process Data. It's going to ask us, is this okay? Because it may take a little bit of time, and this is when it's going to sit there and process and take some time. So we're going to go ahead and let that process, but while it's processing, we're going to just jump over to the grower report, kind of what you're going to get in the end of this. So this is the report that we're going to find. It's going to give you your field name, the size, the plot widths and lengths, just some data there, your targeted rates, give you a summary of information here of how well you did. Here our targeted rates were 0 and 20. The as applied rates were 57 and 64. This is with starter, another application, so it upped it by 20 or so there. You can see the yield with and without, and the profit without and with. So you can see the profits are a little bit higher without applying the pivot bio on the site. So the optimal uniform rate, if we were able to do site specific, by changing to not applying it, we've gained $4 an acre. Look at the trial design here. The target rates of 0 and 20, and then the as applied rates. Next, it kind of goes through some misalignment stuff, which we're not going to worry about in this video. The next is kind of just a big picture of the yield response. So this is yield, bushels per acre. This is the profit. This is kind of, and then the two rates, the without and then the with pivot bio. You can kind of see here the targeted 0 and the targeted 20 gallons per acre. You can see they're pretty similar. yields and profit there. We can see ultimately a little bit, yields are pretty much the same, but we had an increased expense for the pivot, so not as high of a profit. Next, what it can do is kind of take those information you gave it. We could also feed in other soil tests or zone sampling or things like that in this as well. But we can see, based on elevation, pretty similar: a low elevation, medium elevation, high elevation. You can see, without pivot bio, with pivot bio. Higher elevations that seem to not do as well, similar in the lower and medium. Next thing will give you a slope, depending on how much slope is on your field. Kind of shows a map of some of the sloped areas. You can see the differences in profit and yield there as well. And then it'll give you kind of some basics with economics, and you can read through this if you'd like. It'll give you kind of showing you the different economics of the different rates that did better. And then kind of give you a summary. So if we substitute it for, I'm not putting it on, then we get gain $4 per acre. There's a little bit more of the yield versus pivot bio rate. And this is a compensation calculation, so everyone doing these trials officially can get $1,000 just for participating. But then they also go through and check if you lost money because you did these treatments. So here, the average net revenue on trial plots for the status quo rate was $6 greater than the average net revenue of non-trial plots. So as the status quo rate had a higher mean net revenue than did the other rates, the total compensation payment for this field is $184. And then also the $1,000 stipend for participating. So because the farmer lost some yield by applying it, then they also got some compensation for that. And these are just some maps and other figures of status quo data versus trial data and looking at counts versus profit there. But mostly the biggest thing you want to be concerned about is the profit difference of the trial, lost money per acre, 30 acres in the trial. Farmer will get $184 from doing this. And that's kind of the gist. You can read through in detail some of these reports if you'd like, but I could use some information there as well to kind of work on. And that's an example here of kind of doing an on and off or with without study using the DIFM framework.